Welcome to Coffee and Tequila. This is Jen and Zach. Watch The Handmaid's Tale. We're here to cover Season 5, Episode 5, Fairytale. My name is Zach.
I'm Jen.
What are you, four fingers? What were you doing there?
I said 5.
Why are you doing gang signs?
Episode 5.
Just throwing out gang signs over here. I don't know, communicating with the Facebook groups. You know, Alastair has not watched any other episodes except for the first one.
Why though?
I don't understand it. It like truly has me baffled, and I go to I catch myself going to talk to him about it, or start going, oh, did you see? And I'm like, no, you didn't see. Actually, you are.
Do you think he would rather be doing this with you?
No, he doesn't want to watch it. He's ready for the show to be over.
Why?
He was ready for. I don't know. He just wants it to be done already.
He loved it so much.
I know, he really did. Like, we were addicted last season. We truly we got our. I remember we got our COVID shots, and we were laid up, all achy and painy when it premiered last year, and we could have died, but we stayed our asses up because there was 3 episodes to watch, and he made us stay awake for them. And now he's like, could care less, you know.
He's evolved into, I don't know. Maybe it's not enough. Like fairy tale-y or what?
Fairy tale is.
I don't mean fairy tale. I mean, he likes
fantasy.
Sci-fi. Yeah,
sci-fi fantasy.
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons, acting like he's a big old nerd. He is at an FRG meeting thing, a family readiness group meeting, which they've been trying to push me to do these, by the way. They want me to be the leader of the FRG or whatever, as the commander's wife. And I'm like... at first I'm like, no, I couldn't do it. And now I'm thinking, well, could I create my own Gilead? And
what color are you going to wear?
I don't know. Maybe I should show up in a color like that all the time. I should show up in cerulean or turquoise, whatever the color is that they wear. I think I might do it. Yeah, we're here to talk about episode 5, though. There's a lot to talk about in this one. I knew there would be. I thought it was going to be a little bit more action-packed, but it was still
I thought it was
real good.
too.
Yeah.
I thought it was just based on the trailer that we watched, because that's what we saw was the action. So it hasn't been super action packed, but I thought about that today. And here's my thought about that is that we're used to it being so action packed because she was always trying to escape and they were always trying to get out. And so there was a lot of action that surrounded all of that. And now it's just not really like that.
Yeah.
So that's why it seems to some people like maybe it's a little more mundane, or
that makes a lot of sense.
They call it boring, but it's not boring. It's just, we're getting tons of information. It's just everything is not about trying to get out anymore.
And that's very true, right? Like everything was about her making plans or her making alliances or her making she was doing a lot of we were on the tip of our toes because she was, having to sneak secrets to people through bread and shit like that. And she's not having to do that now. And I did think that they were going to focus on a couple other storylines throughout the season. And they're not really doing that. And so it is a quieter season. I have to say, it wasn't a bad episode, but it didn't hit for me as hard. I feel like the last episode was really intense for me.
Yeah. It wasn't as intense, but I had a hard time. I love where Luke and June are, but for this episode, for me, I was just so focused on Serena Joy and trying to figure out what the heck is going on there. So that's kind of where my mind was the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was so wild. This episode is directed by Eva Vives. I'm hoping I'm saying that name right. And then we have we've hit the mid-season mark now. So if it's about 10 episodes at minimum, hopefully we're here. We're halfway through already. It's wild. This episode, I've kind of taken from this episode. It's mostly about past and present is what I felt. Right, past and present, and I wouldn't say how to leave the past behind and move forward, but we do have a lot of moving forward moments in this episode rather than sticking with the past. But we are revisiting a past a lot in this episode.
I like the flashbacks a lot. Yeah.
They were really interesting too, and we'll get to them, but they were really, really interesting. So I guess when we start the episode, June, she's having these, they've shown the damn aquarium scene 50 times throughout this damn series. We always see Hannah in front of the aquarium. That's the only memory June has of Hannah. She just wants to get her back and take her back to the damn aquarium. But then she gets a call in the middle of the night from Lily saying that they have a guardian coming over who has information, right?
Right.
And so they hop in the car and they go straight to like the outpost. And when they get there, they basically learn that the guardian can't come over, I guess, because Canadian security is a lot tighter now, or like, you know, I don't know. He's like stuck in no man's land right now, so they can't do that, which is so weird to me, right? That because this is how we get Luke and June to go back in, but couldn't they just do like a phone tree again, like a phone chain?
Yeah, I mean, like, and share the information over the phone.
That's what I thought, or something, right? It seems like there's easier ways to do
Right.
it other than having to like cross the border just to get like a little, because the information they do get was like a very little morsel.
Right. But I mean, I guess they could have thought of bigger ways to get them across, but essentially they're just trying to get them across the border.
I guess.
And Luke is the reason why they went across the border.
Luke is scaring me a lot, right? Because he's taking a lot of initiative and we're getting a lot of Luke moments, and it just tells me that he's gonna die, and I don't want to see him die. I'm like terrified that he's gonna die. Because we get it, you know, he's the first one to say, well, I'm going over then. And June kind of gets this like smirk on her face, and she like smiles a little bit, and she's like into it. She's like, "Ooh, sexy."
She is into it. She's here for it. She's all about it
renegade,
now. She's like,
renegade.
Who are you?
Yeah, and so they prepare to go in, and like we knew they were gonna do that. I figured it was like to go get Hannah. It really is weird to me they are going for a tiny bit of information that we kind of already know. Like we know that Hannah, and I don't know how they don't understand this, that Hannah's like in school to be a wife. Right, so we go for that information, but what? Well,
how do we not know that already? Knew that. Well, they did know that because before, where they figured out the color purple was, that's what the color purple was. So anyway,
it just doesn't make sense.
So now they know again. I didn't really. It didn't. It wasn't much. So
yeah,
but it got him in.
We'll talk about it.
But maybe
he gets blown up for that information.
Maybe they expected more. I don't know.
I guess. We do get back with Serena, and she is at the new compound. So I got a lot to talk about with Serena. Yeah, I think I even have more to talk about with Serena than I do with June and Luke this episode.
This episode for sure.
Because there's a lot. She wakes up, and the music is all nice. The lighting is all warm. We have warm lighting, nice calming music. She wakes up, and she thinks she's living in this big mansion, and she goes walking down the stairs.
In pants.
Of course, it's always in pants, right? We see that her damn outfit is in her closet. Put your shit on, okay, Serena Joy. You're going to get another finger cut off. She goes downstairs and meets with Mrs. Wheeler over this big breakfast, and we are getting all of these little, like, hints here that Mrs. Wheeler and this whole situation is not set up in Serena's benefit.
Yeah, it's scary. I mean, for Serena, it's scary, but it's so, I don't know. I'm like, is she posted?
Are you seeing all of those? Are you seeing all of those on the Facebook page? Everybody's talking about it on the Facebook page.
Yeah, but I mean, if you just look at it all, look at all the signs.
Did you see somebody say that the food and drink is the same one that Serena gave June when June was a handmaid?
Right. People were talking about Serena had plate envy during this episode.
It's weird, man. They do a little bit of talking about Gilead, and I thought this was an interesting sort of line, is that people refusing to accept Gilead, and Mrs. Wheeler says they're selfish, small-minded people. I hate these people so much. I hate all of them, but like, why is she not in Gilead? I don't understand why they are outside of Gilead.
Well, I think we're not supposed to understand that or know that right now. I think that's going to come out.
Because they say,
who are they?
But I don't know. It's so weird. They're like,
is he a commander?
He can't be, though. He must not be. I feel like they're posers. I feel like they can't get into Gilead because she says it feels so far away. The home feels so far away, or something like that. And but like why wouldn't they just be there then? You know, they were Canadians. That's the thing, is like they didn't luck out getting to be Americans when Gilead took over. They were already Canadians, you know?
I mean, I just think maybe I don't know, they're connected in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be in a positive way for Serena. Because honestly, she looked like a handmaid without the red
It was
outfit.
terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Except they were nice to her.
But like Serena Joy was nice to June too, in a
Right,
way. Right.
True.
So the whole episode is back and forth. I was glad that we didn't get any Lydia and Janine stuff this episode.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to take us too far out of these two storylines right here, because these are like the strongest contenders for the storylines. And so we do have it going back and forth between Serena Joy and Luke and June. And so Luke and June set out into the forest. In my mind, this outpost was on the border. I didn't realize they have to like walk a day.
And she's like, you'll be there by
nightfall.
I was like, oh, I thought it was on the other side of
I
that
thought
thing. Like,
they pointed like it was like that. It was like the tree line. You make it to the tree line. I'm like, yeah, it's just right there. You know,
well, they said he put up the flag just now. So I'm like,
but I thought we could see the flag.
I don't know, because they have to walk until nightfall to get. And then she's
time.
like, "Oh, but Nicole's taking a nap. They're okay."
Nicole, we don't worry about Nicole. Nicole is old enough to take care of herself these days. Okay, Nicole's got a job. She's got a job. She is set up. You know, she is contributing to the house. June won't work. Nicole is getting the bread for that family. Okay,
she's got Rita. Rita's got Nicole while she's taking a nap.
Rita just needs Nicole. I bet Rita would thrive as a mother. And so Rita can have Nicole. Okay, Nicole with an H. Nicole. So stupid.
I think I don't know.
I feel like they like forgot that they even had a baby as they were plotting this season, and they were like, oh shit, what do we do with the baby? Like, give it back to Serena Joy at this point, right? Like,
she didn't even want the baby.
June don't want the baby. Serena Joy don't want the baby. Where's Nicole going to go in life? That's the show that I want to see.
She can go with her dad.
Let her go with her daddy, okay? She needs to spend a summer in Gilead.
And his new wife.
Yeah. But June and Luke set out into the forest, and right before they do that, Moira gives Luke a hug first. Again, I am scared he's going to die. They're doing a lot of things with Luke this season. Ugh, it's terrible. It's terrible. And
he's just taking an initiative. Now all the people in the Facebook groups that have been talking about him
they love him now? They love him now?
Well, they can like him now, because everybody's like, I don't really like him because he didn't do anything at all to help them.
Yeah.
But
he had the opportunity to. Now he has the opportunity.
Right.
And this
well,
is
if he would have gone in before, he would be dead right now.
Exactly. He had to get out. Like, somebody had to get out. Like, their whole situation.
Right.
That somebody. It's just wild, man. It's wild. As June and Luke are walking, she also gets a lot of like flashbacks to that, to like when they're in the forest and when they're, this, that, and the other. And
she had a lot of triggers.
It triggered me a little bit, because that was the opening scene for this entire series. And I remember. It is a little traumatizing to watch, right? Especially when you watch through the season and they show you the rest of the story, how they got to that point. And it's just so sad, right? Because like the car crashed, Luke was there, right? And Luke had to like split up and go a different way. Or Luke got captured, didn't he? By the Guardians. I believe he did.
How do we not remember that?
Yes, he did. Luke sent June and Hannah into the forest to run towards the Canadian border. I wonder if this is like the same area. And then Luke, because I believe he got shot or something like that.
Well, he did get shot.
And I think they took him, and he got out somehow, or he took off running. It's one of the two. I guess we got to go back and watch it.
See, that's why it's been so long since we watched it.
I don't think they remember either, right? She's having these flashbacks, but she don't remember. She don't even remember Luke in her life.
Well, no, they're coming together a whole lot, so...
Yeah. We do get a little bit more Moira in this episode, which I really enjoy, right? I like Moira, worried about her friends, and, because we see a lot of Moira this season coming in with a bit of information, or coming in to, like, give a bit of advice, and then she, like, exits scene, or she's driving everybody everywhere, Is
she getting a new love interest?
I hope so. She needs something. She needs a bit of happiness, right?
Kind of seemed like there was a spark. they were trying to introduce.
Yeah.
Maybe that she was coming into, I don't know, a love interest. I don't know.
There's a cabin, there's fire, there's alcohol. They're just swigging from the bottle. I think it sounds very romantic to me. But I'm glad to see her have more to do here. But you notice when they all started volunteering to go over, she said, "Not my ass."
She's like, "Hell no! I better take care of Nicole.
I will not be a Jezebel again. Not today.
No, I'm gonna take care of Nicole."
What does Moira say? I wrote it down here. I'm looking for it. She says something about them during this scene, about her friends, and it
that
really
they fight
warmed
for
my
each
heart.
other. They're fighters.
I need to find it here. Hold on one second. I said, okay.
Well, that's what she's.
Yeah.
She said they're fighters. Because the other girl said, "What's the deal with those two?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "They're fighters. No matter what they've all been through, they always find a way to fight for each other."
And I think this is both true and false, right? I don't think they're necessarily fighting for each other. I think they're fighting for the life they had before Gilead. I think they're fighting so hard for that. Luke especially, I think, is fighting hard for that.
Yeah.
I think June is maybe fighting for a little bit of something else. And Luke, June is fighting all these different battles. So whatever, pick a fight. I don't know. There's something there. But Luke is really fighting for the life that they had before, and I feel like it's going to be a losing fight, right? Because it's sort of like the Great.
Why do you keep saying that?
Because I think it is, but I think it is in a positive way. We'll get positive about it. It's sort of like, do you remember in The Great Gatsby when Nick Carraway tells Gatsby, I'm saying he's gonna die, but he tells him, he says you can't repeat the past, and I think these two need to come to realize you can't repeat the past. You just can't do it. They will never be able to go back to the aquarium. Aquarium's gone.
Right. But
we see a lot in this episode.
We want to get our daughter back so we can have a new normal and try to at least repair our family a little bit.
Very true. So remember that you can't repeat the past, and they're very much fighting for the past, and we'll get to my point with that a little bit later when they're at the bowling alley. I completely forgot about this. That's not even in my notes. They run up on a body strung up. Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, because I forgot to put it in my notes. And it's, what did it say? It said rapist. So that's not Gilead, is it? That is, and that's No Man's Land as well.
Right. So Luke is like, is that, they're like stunned by it. And Luke is like, is that Gilead? And she's like, Gilead doesn't use words.
So it must be the other lady.
It's her people. That's what it is.
I need to see that storyline. I need to see that they are out killing more commanders or something, right? Something else is happening, and it's wild so clearly that body hasn't been found or something yet, because I feel like Gilead would have made a bigger deal about that, but they are absolutely in those woods killing people.
Yeah. Apparently he did something.
They're getting their pound of flesh.
I didn't see what he was wearing though. I didn't notice. Sometimes I have a hard time because it's so dark. I can't always see.
I think he was wearing, I don't know. It looked like normal clothes to me. Honestly.
Regular clothes?
Something like that.
Anyway.
We do get Serena back at the house, and she gets brought into all of this room full of women who are all, they can't conceive, and so they're obsessed with her and
touching her belly, feeling the baby kick.
Bizarre. When you were pregnant, did people just come up and start touching your belly all the time without your permission?
I think people want to. I think it's rude. I don't really remember anybody really trying to do that, but I don't know. I think it's rude. I would never do that to somebody.
Yeah, and it's just there's this.
But I have a bubble. I don't like people getting in my bubble.
Oh, I don't either. And she seems a little bit.
She's eating it up
with
though.
it, but she's also
she's eating that part up.
There's a little bit of uncomfortability, but she is eating it up. Yes, you're right. She is really thinking she's set up nicely here for a second. Right.
Well, in that aspect, but I do think that she's seeing some little bits and pieces of things that do make her uncomfortable, that maybe remind her of the past.
Yeah.
So I do think she sees some of that stuff, but I think she likes all of the women being around her, going nuts over the fact that she has been able to conceive.
She likes to think of herself as sort of she likes to think of herself in a multitude of highly regarded ways. Like she likes to be the inspiration for everybody. Right. She wants to be the mother hen for everybody, the voice of like the new Gilead or something like that, right? And so she is eating all of this up. And it's so strange because they talk about handmaids, and Mrs. Wheeler cannot have a handmaid. And again, like we're kind of setting up Serena Joy to be, but I'm thinking like this show loves to subvert expectations all the time. Are they really going to make Serena Joy a handmaid? Or I think that's obvious.
I think that I was about to use the same word, obvious. I think that's way too obvious. But I'm very curious because I mean, she's there for a reason.
She's there, and they're not letting her leave. They're not letting her walk out that door with that baby. They're not. She seems like she has a new posting, is what it feels like, right?
That is what it feels like. It's a posting. It is a posting, essentially, right now.
It feels like it. And we go into our first flashback of Serena Joy. I think Serena Joy has 2 flashbacks here, and I love both of them. So this first one is she and Mrs. Putnam. And it's so revealing, too. Revealing in a way that I don't think we've seen before or have even considered. She and Mrs. Putnam are walking through, I guess, like an adoption center or something of the like. This is like right after they started like snatching children away from their unfit mothers.
Yeah.
And so they're like scouting children, and they're stealing them away from their mothers, right? But then they also don't want to adopt any of them. They're like, do you see any of these in your home?
We don't know where they've been.
They're like, they look too multiracial for me.
They have lice. They're dirty.
It's so strange.
We're gonna get a ringworm.
I think a lot of people like make that point too, especially in today's world, that you know, the government, you know, and people's bodies, right? And whether the government should be involved in the choices you make about your bodies. And if they are, and if they're not going to allow you to do certain things that we won't say explicitly, but then who's adopting these kids, right? Who's taking care of these kids? And I see that perfect parallel right here, right? Because they didn't adopt any of them. Mrs. Putnam doesn't have a child that age.
Well, it looked like, you know what it looked like? It looked like the Pound.
It did. It seems like they were set up like the Pound.
So smelled better.
I guess because they don't bathe the unfit mother's children, you know.
Right.
Stick them in the white rooms. Mrs. Putnam does make the unfit mother comment, and it really sat with me because if we're seeing it in a flashback, it's relevant to the future. And I think that they are going, because of Serena Joy's history now and her husband and what he did and how he was a traitor, is Mrs. Wheeler going to see Serena Joy as an unfit mother?
Right. Maybe. I mean, the scene was there for a reason. Yes. All of these flashbacks happen for a reason. And so they've shown us this. Yeah. But I also think, well, we keep going back to the beginning of things. So they go back to the beginning. So now they're creating a new beginning.
Yes. They're creating a new beginning. We're getting that parallel there. And we haven't really gotten to go back to the beginning in a few seasons, I feel like. Not to this extent. And I really enjoy seeing the beginning because we are seeing the beginning through Serena Joy and Mrs. Putnam's eyes.
Right.
And something that really shocked me is that having a handmaid was kind of taboo. And so the way they talked to each other.
Yeah, they were like,
They were like, Are you going to have a
handmaid? I'm not doing, God bless us. We're going to have a child.
So clearly they were uncomfortable with the whole handmaid situation too at one point. They're putting Mrs. Putnam in here a lot, and she's making a lot of comments like that, and she's being a little too sympathetic. Well, I wonder if they're going somewhere with that.
Well, so I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea what's going to happen or how it's going to happen, but I did see a picture in one of the groups. It was a picture. Did you see the picture of the man on the wall?
Yes.
Without an arm?
I don't believe that is Mr. Putnam.
Do you not?
I think that is that's the kid who got blown up at the end of this one. I think we're going to see it the next episode, and I think it's going to be
You think so? On the wall?
Because he's not. He wasn't.
Why would they put him on the wall?
Because he was alive. Remember, he was alive when they found him, We'll get to it. Yes. We're gonna
Okay.
get to
Okay.
it.
Okay.
I do believe that though, but the Mr. Putnam theory would be really, really interesting. But I feel like I'm trying to now track Mrs. Putnam throughout the series, and I'm like, well, maybe she just had to do the handmaid thing. Sometimes you just have to do it because that's the situation you're in. She had to do the handmaid thing, so they have the baby, and she just goes with it, right?
Yeah.
But could she be working through a network or something like that? Could she have been doing it this entire time? I don't know.
What do you mean a network?
I don't know, the Resistance or with the Marthas, or she could be. She could. They're doing something.
Miss Putnam is
with
not
her.
in a resistance.
Miss
She
Putnam
was
leading
way
the
too mean to
Mrs. Putnam
Janine.
is Mayday.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna hang up now.
I feel like I'm on the Facebook groups. They'd probably go wild over that theory.
You're way. That's gonna be on there tomorrow. They're gonna be talking about that tomorrow.
I've already seen it. I have seen it, and I'm wondering, man. I'm wondering myself because they're doing something with her, and I got to keep my eye on her. But I don't know. That flashback scene was real, real good. And then we go to commercial. Or you don't have commercials, do you, on yours?
No, I don't
Alastair's
think so.
ass signed us up for the commercial version, and he paid a year in advance, so we can't even change it. They won't let us even change it on our account. So I got to watch commercials on The Handmaid's Tale. So we come back from commercial. And,
I don't have commercials.
We come back from commercial, and it's another Serena Joy scene. We get a lot of her scenes, like back to back to back here. And this one was Serena Joy is going to be having a call with Lawrence, right? And so Mrs. Putnam is standing there at first with her.
Right.
And they kind of have a moment again talking about, I don't know, just like Gilead things. And Mrs. Wheeler says that wives shouldn't burden themselves with business things, as in wives need to take the wifely role. Like you're going on a conversation like with commanders is wild, and I don't approve, and I'm not going to be a part of that, right?
Right.
She does get on the call. Good input. Good input, Jennifer Garcia.
I'm sorry. I was reading screenshots that I'd saved. Sorry. I'm here.
She's I lost my husband. He's not gonna watch Handmaid's Tale anymore. My mom's getting out of it. She don't want to watch Handmaid's Tale no more either. I'm just gonna be here talking to myself.
No. I was reading screenshots from the groups. I don't know.
Serena Joy does get into begin her phone call with Lawrence, and Putnam is there as well because he's now keeping an eye on everybody, right? So we saw Mackenzie doing that
right
a couple episodes ago, and he's doing that too. They've got this shit on lock. They're not taking no more chances.
But did you notice that? Okay, so we mentioned Serena Joy's living the life now, wearing pants, right?
Yeah.
And now she's safe in the home of her new posting.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Hello, Joseph. Hello, Warren."
Yeah.
She called them by their first names.
It's strange. I noticed that too, because at first I was thinking, his name is not Warren. His name, that's Putnam,
I know.
right?
It threw me off too.
And then I had to realize, she's using first names.
Right.
And I was like, you're getting a little big for your britches here. They already cut her down once, and they definitely do that again here, because when she has the idea that they need... I think Lawrence is so funny too. I think he's really funny with his delivery with the actors. Because he says, you think a center for Gilead focusing on Gilead is a mistake? It's like, he got you. And
but I think where she got that, let me tell you where I think. So I think where she got that is all of these women surrounding her, in love with her, in her pregnant belly. She's like, fertility is the way to go. Yeah. So we shouldn't focus on Gilead. We should focus on infertility.
I have to admit, it's a good strategy.
She's smart. She's a smart girl.
The world is having fertility problems. You pop up with a fertility clinic that is promoting Gilead's values. It's a cover business, basically, right?
And she's the poster child.
She's wanting to be.
Well,
she wants the women to come in there and surround her, and she's like, I have had a child before. I can teach you how to have a child now.
Yes.
But she quickly gets cut down. So like they're gonna go with this plan, obviously. But Warren is now, or Putnam. I'm gonna call him Putnam. Putnam is he cuts her off, and she's like trying. Do you notice they're trying to talk over each other because she doesn't stop talking?
Yeah, and he slams the phone down.
Mm-hmm.
Slams it down. Praise be.
Under his eye. I thought we were going to cut away at that point, but then we get Lawrence and Putnam.
I know.
And Putnam gives Lawrence a lashing, too. I still don't understand how Lawrence ain't on the wall already. It's like
I don't either, because he says she's a little off the rails. We have to
you pull her leash back a little bit, right?
Yeah. I forgot the words they used, but I was trying to remember it for this. I need to take notes. It's just I'm busy in the day, so I'm like doing it all day long in the middle of everything else I do.
She don't even know what they look like. Again, I told y'all last
we need
episode.
To
she thinks this is a radio
chain.
show. Yeah,
we yank need to her chain, or somebody's like, I know you like yanking stuff.
I know, and then he yanks Lawrence's chain too. And he said, bitch, you are also a dog, and I will yank your ass as well, okay? Warren's got the power here, and he knows it, and he's using it.
So he outranks, who outranks who?
I don't understand it. They all sit together that I thought they were all commanders, but I guess people do outrank each other, and I guess Waterford was just one of the top, and so maybe with Waterford gone, it's Putnam now, you know?
Right.
Maybe Putnam is in the Waterford position, or maybe even a little bit higher, but he definitely puts Lawrence in his place, and he lets them know, you think your speeches are going to work on us anymore? We know about your speeches, okay? Mm-hmm. You're not going to tell me another one of your stories, are you? I don't want to hear another one of your stories.
It's going to work on me. The other commanders, just like it worked on me, kind of. He said something like that. Anyway.
I'm glad we skip the more of June and Luke's walk, and we just got to get them there now, though.
Right.
They finally get there. They meet the Guardian. The Guardian takes them back to a bowling alley. I was so happy when they walked in and they saw a bowling alley. I was like, we're going to get them all bowling, ain't we? We're going to get music. We're going to get beer. We're going to get them having fun. Some lighthearted. I was
scared the whole
something
time.
Lighthearted. I was too, a little bit, because at first June doesn't even want to go with him, right? And I'm saying, June, you've done this for 5 years. Trust your gut. I trust June's gut. I always go with June.
Me too.
So if June's worried about something,
Luke doesn't understand.
Looks like
I'm gonna drink beer.
He's like, Gilead wasn't that bad, June. What are you talking about?
I'm gonna dance. Sing a song, and the whole time June's nervous.
She's nervous the entire time, and she is like, she's nervous about the Guardian guy. She's nervous about
and
even
I was
after
too, a little bit.
I thought something was happening there, because he's like, come back to my place. Why are we going back to your place? No, let's stay in public. How about that? Okay. But we get there, and so they just kind of like hang out. So they get the news like pretty much immediately, right? Is like, well, we already knew this. We knew it. Hannah is in training to be a wife, but I think maybe the newest bit of information is that like training school is like that, right?
Yeah. And so she's not going to be there long.
She's 12 now. She will be married by 14, most likely, if Esther was a 14-year-old bride, you know? So she's got no time at all. And I do believe they're going to marry her to Lawrence. I think that's why they're keeping him around. And I think that's going to be how she gets out.
Maybe.
In my perfect world of writing. I don't know. Everybody ends up on the wall at the end of the show.
No, stop. Negative.
But then they're going to leave, and June is like, yeah, we should go ahead and go. And Luke is the one saying, well, let's stay, you know? We might as well stay till nightfall, right?
We have a friend.
She's like, and June is doing the...
making her face.
We didn't get a close-up face shot, did we? Not this episode.
No, but that's what I was reading a while ago. Somebody actually, or I sent it to you, didn't I? What? About someone saying, I'm so over June's.
Oh, yeah, I think you
so
did.
Over
you sent me like an article or something too.
Facial expressions.
Yeah. Well, there's none in this one, okay? I think the episode suffered for it.
Right.
She should have had a moment right before she's like gets up and she holds a bowling ball and she's right about to throw it and it goes in on her and she's like doing her little face and then she bowls and gets a strike. I'd have loved it. I'd have cheered. But they hang out at this bowling alley for a while, and I do love it. I understand that June is on edge the entire time, but like Luke's having a good time. They're with this kid, and I thought he looked a little young. And then they start asking him about like his life. And I thought that was so brilliant because it's basically like this is the closest that they would get to asking Hannah about how she kind of like sees the world now. You know? Because she would probably be, I guess she would have been younger than this kid, but still, if this kid is like, I don't know, forgetting his own, if this kid is forgetting his own life and he was maybe 10 when Gilead started, then that's wild that he can't even remember his life before, you know?
Well, he had the little bits. Like I think, you know, my dad took me bowling and it is kind of sad. So it kind of gives you an idea of, I don't know.
Yeah.
It is going to be hard for Hannah.
It's sad and it's
but they
real hard
talk
for
about
Hannah.
how pure he is.
Well, she does it as a dig. Because I thought that
Did
part
I miss that?
I thought it was a dig. I read I guess I guess we read it differently, right? So like he walks off right after that telling that story, who goes to bowl, and she says, "I've never met somebody in here as pure as him." But I thought she read it, or it read to me like she said it with distrust, and she's like, "I'm not buying that."
Well, you're probably right. She didn't trust him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she thought something was going to happen the whole time. I thought something was going to happen when Luke was singing and when they were dancing.
I was so stressed. I was
stressed out too. I was thinking someone was going to come in. The eyes were coming in.
I'm going to tell you what. Stop. I'm going to tell you what you've been telling me the whole time. Stop. Don't stop. Don't do that. It's Luke. I was stressed, man, because they were chilling.
That was the most stressful moment for me of the whole show today, was that right there.
Mine is right at the end, but they basically
already expected that.
So Luke does they get to bowl, they get to have a little moment, and then Luke sings this song, and I wrote it down because I actually didn't know the song, but he sings "Let's Stay Together" on the piano, and that I just fell in love with him. I want him to serenade me. I want him to be in my home, you know. A hand husband or something, you know.
Oh my god!
Whatever we can do there. I don't know.
I mean, you have a commander already.
Oh, now we need a hand husband.
Yeah.
I bet that costume's at Spirit Halloween too. There's the damn Handmaid's Tale costume at Spirit Halloween, guys. That's crazy. Do people forget how dark this show is?
Well, I've been seeing people buying them and already putting them on in the Facebook groups. Did you see that crochet thing?
It was cute though. I liked that.
Yeah, and I saw a couple things. Someone else was painting rocks, and someone else was making cups, like kind of like a tumbler, a Yeti cup or something.
I did see that one. Yes, it was a Handmaid's cup. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
I saw a shirt too that said "Under His Eye."
I think the costume one is a little weird though, because someone like, aren't they rape victims? Are we really dressing up like rape victims and running around?
I mean,
it's a little bit weird.
I'm not going to talk anymore.
I don't know. I mean, it's like you have Stranger Things and then a Handmaid. It's like, which one do you go for? I feel like Halloween?
Maybe it depends on what area you live in. We had, during COVID, remember I sent you that, did I send you that picture when we had during COVID and they were doing mask mandates and people were protesting the mask mandates, and out at 3M, out at 3M was making them wear masks. So people were protesting it, and someone took a picture and put it on Facebook that there was a person out there protesting and they had a Handmaid's costume on.
Your town feels like Gilead. Like you have those
big
black vans driving around everywhere. You sent me one of those pictures every other day. That's the eyes. They're ready. They're ready to come get somebody. Erin's going to
not that bad.
Taken off the street. Her and Key.
They won't take Key. They'll bring her back.
They sure as hell will. Y'all should have taken her back too. Wherever we don't know where she came from, but I'd have taken her back. But so I love this moment where Luke is singing and then he gets up and he starts dancing with her and the guy flashes the I don't know how that worked, because the lights were still moving around. Logistics don't matter, but he like shined the disco ball, and it gave them a little bit of mood. But so it was a real good scene of like kind of highlighting how Luke is still connected to that happiness that they had. Right. Luke is still connected to the past, and he's still like able to. All of that's been stripped from her. Right. I think everything but Hannah has been stripped from her past, and she doesn't connect to it anymore. She doesn't connect to Luke from her past anymore. But they said this on the inside the episode as well, and I really agree with it, is that she is like falling in love with him again.
I think so too. I see it.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't she? She did the first time.
Mm-hmm.
She fell in love with who he is, and he's so the same person.
And if this is who he is, I'm falling in love with him too, right? Serenade me, Luke. Serenade me. It was damn sweet.
I love them. I like them.
I know. And then we just get it. I was just waiting for like bullets come through the window or something, because they do remark like they're like, "This isn't loud. This isn't too loud."
Well, she said he was yelling. Yeah. Like the Guardian was yelling and screaming, and she was like, "They don't hear you."
It was suspicious.
That's not loud. And she was scared the whole time, and I was scared with her.
And then they trade names. Luke is like, "What's your name?" And I think he said either Jaden or David. I don't remember. I thought it was Jaden.
I think he said Jaden.
And I was like, they told you don't do names at the beginning of the episode. This is a bad omen. This is a curse. You're not supposed to know names. I don't trust this. No, this is not what we do here. They do go back. It gets dark, and so Jaden is taking them back. He starts to take them back, and are we there, or is it Serena first? Hold on, real quick. Let me look.
No, it's Serena first, because
you're right.
Because that was when he takes them back. That's the end.
So Serena Joy goes outside, and she loves her fans. Her fans just keep bringing her flowers.
Lays out their flowers.
So she's stupid. I'm bringing nuke. Bring a bazooka. But she's like wants to go out there and greet her fans and sign some autographs, and their guards tell them no. Mr. Wheeler said, "We are not to open the gate for you.
You're a prisoner."
Yeah. Have you heard that TikTok sound that's like, "We're trapped in here like a pack of sardines. We cannot escape. We cannot come out." Like Serena Joy looked like. I'll have to send it to you. It's real funny.
But her face, though, she's kind of like
getting it. She's getting it.
Okay. He's like, enjoy the grounds. So yeah,
it's everything that Mrs. Wheeler has been saying is kind of like hitting Serena Joy a little bit. She's kind of giving a little bit of a side hand. Now she's like actually trapped here, because she does go upstairs and meets Mr. Wheeler, and he doesn't explicitly tell her anything. He just like lays out sort of the plan, how the plan is going to go, right? He's like, your idea, it was a hit. We love it. She's like, okay, well, when do I start? When do we take me back so I can get working? He's like, oh, no.
But you're not.
You're on bed rest now. Baby girl, you're on bed rest now.
You're pregnant.
Your delicate condition. She looks like she's about to pop that baby out any day now.
So how does he fit in?
Yeah.
That's why I think maybe he's a commander.
Yeah.
But they have him on the outside for whatever reason.
I need to know where they are. Like, I need location.
Yeah,
I need map.
I don't know either. Because he's on the inside.
Yeah.
With everyone else. So
it was so strange.
How do you think they came to agree to her plan, though?
Yeah.
Because at first they were like, no, hang the phone up in her ear.
I don't even think they were like, I think they already agreed to their plan, but they weren't going to like say that to her. They weren't going to compliment her. They're not going to give her anything. They're going to take it. And that's what they did at the beginning, right? Like, she created Gilead. Serena Joy created Gilead, and men followed, and they took Gilead from her, and she fell into that system. And guess what? It's happened. That's a repeat. We're talking about the past and repeating itself and all of that. Her past is repeating itself, and she's getting even demoted.
Oh, because listen. Because you were about to jump to them traveling back. Well, okay, so we have the moment with her, Mr. Wheeler. He's telling her she's delicate. She cannot go work right now. And he gives her like the stuff to drink to keep her levels up and all of that. But we also get the flashback of her with Aunt Lydia.
Yeah.
And that was a really good flashback.
And I forgot that June was not the first handmaid they had.
Well, there was one
all
there,
about
right, that committed
killed herself.
suicide. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, she had written on the inside of the closet.
Yeah, and so we're seeing we're seeing like sort of Serena Joy's journey to getting a handmaid, and now we're seeing the parallel of her journey to becoming a handmaid. I fully believe that's what's going to happen here.
Right. But it was interesting because they've got all of the pictures, all of the books of these available handmaids laid out.
Yeah.
She reaches down, picks one up, and is looking at it. And Lydia's like, oh, that's a fantastic choice. Good bones, blah, blah, blah. And Mr. Waterford, she caught Mr. Waterford's eye too.
Yeah.
And she set it back down.
Yep.
And picked up a different one.
Because I think they were all worried about that, right? Like, especially when the handmaids were firstly a new thing, like brand new.
Right. And
wives thought it was taboo to have a handmaid in their house. And then when they start having to do it because it's infertility left and right, you know, that's their husbands. They don't want their husbands looking at another woman.
Right.
They don't want anything like that, right? It's weird. It's almost like, you know, hiring a female nanny. You know, there's a stigma with that. There's the stereotype about that. And so she knew from the beginning, right? And it played out exactly like she thought it was going to happen. They even had a handmaid kill herself over that shit. You know?
And look how he was with June.
Yeah. You want to play Scrabble? Maybe
I'll let you read.
We'll play Scrabble, right? She like puts on lipstick and a gold dress, and they go party. June goes clubbing. Offred goes clubbing. I'm sorry, it was Offred.
She goes and kills somebody.
It's, the things they get away with this in the show, I forget all the time because that feels like something I blocked out. She killed somebody in a hotel room.
They killed a commander. Yes,
it's just there's nobody. Nobody dies in this one.
Martha's cleaned it up. Yep. Anyway, okay.
Serena,
I just didn't want to forget that.
That's where she's headed, though. Like, all of the parallels are there for this episode for that. And I think it's going to be because they see her as an unfit mother now. That she's a traitor. And she was married to a traitor. That child is a traitor.
Right.
And who's going to get that child, you know?
She's gonna
wake up one day in labor and she's gonna turn around. And Mr. Wheeler gonna be behind her, like, let's give birth. Let's have a baby, Serena Joy.
Making all those ugly sounds.
And all the other ladies are gonna be like the wives when they show up to give birth.
And how awkward is that gonna be for her?
She's going to be fighting it. We're going to get a powerful acting scene from this actress, like trying to fight, having to give birth in a room full of these women. Oh, I'm already on edge about it. Yep, she better give birth this season. I'm tired of her being pregnant. No more pregnancy.
I hope she does. But I feel like we're going to have to start figuring some things out soon. I think because we have all of these what ifs. We don't really know what's going on. It's time to start.
We've set up our chessboard. It's time to start playing now, right? Yeah. Like it's time to let.
I can't take any more of these episodes where they're giving us these little bits and pieces, but we really don't know what to do.
We're just left to kind of like speculate and guess, and like we're not really getting things moving forward. And so now it's time for things to move forward. And it has to now because like they literally are in Gilead now. One last thing about Serena Joy, I guess she's or I had something to say about her. I don't know. I think that's just where we're headed with her, and I think maybe that pushes her into the Resistance or Mayday or whatever. I don't even want her in it. And
you know what? It might.
I don't even want her in it anymore. I gave up.
I don't want her in it. I definitely don't want her in it.
I'm done with Serena Joy. But we do check back in. The Guardian, Jaden is taking Luke and June back to the border, and I guess they get pretty far, right? Again, the way this episode plays out, it's like a courtyard away, right? It doesn't feel like it's so far away. But they get pretty far, and he accidentally steps on it was so dark that I couldn't really tell who stepped on it at first. And so Jaden steps on a landmine and has to like kind of stay there for a second, right? And I was all tense, and I was tense because like at first I thought he was leading them into the woods and they were going to get shot down or something like that. Something was going to happen right there.
Right.
Then they step on the landmine, and I'm like, well, shit. So Jaden's going to die. Luke is probably going to get hurt. June's going to, something with June. Maybe June will get hurt. I don't know. They're going to all end up back in Gilead. And this bomb is going to be big enough that everybody's going to hear it and come running. And I was real worried about that. And that's exactly what happens. He blows up, but Jaden doesn't die. And so this is why I think he's on the wall, is because they come back and he lets them know where he is. They come back, they rescue him, and he's going to be on the wall, and that's going to be Lydia pointing at Jaden. Because he lost a limb, didn't he? What limb was it? It was his arm.
I don't know, was it? I mean, I know they were trying to stop the bleeding. Yeah.
There was something, and I felt so bad for him, too, because he is a kid, and they were really trying to help him. Like, this was sort of Luke and his first time really doing something like this, and June knows when to go. Like, if it's time to go and we can't do anything,
right?
She did as much as she could for him, and Luke was really trying to hang on, you know?
Right. Well, she's done it so many times, and thing is that, I mean, it's traumatic. I don't think she would ever get used to it, but she's seen bad stuff before.
Yeah.
So, but I have to save myself. We have to save ourselves. So, as
and it was
crappy
so
as it is,
it was terrible because then we get this is like shitty. Oh, she said shit. Granny, cover your ears. What is that? I'll get you, my pretty.
Yeah.
That's what they say to Serena Joy. Yep. So they, June and Luke take off running because now all of the Guardians are out on the damn prowl. So I guess the Guardians the bowling alley, is it a post for them and they swap out? Is that what it is?
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure, but
because he talked about taking shifts, but I wasn't clear on that. But so Luke and June are going, and they, oh my gosh, direct parallel to them trying to run with Hannah,
right,
and trying to get away, and it just like broke my heart, you know. And they were so close, but she kept saying it's just right there. Keep going, keep going. You know, we see the cars pulling up on them. I was looking around. I'm like, I don't even know where we are, June.
I mean, it took them a whole long time to get there.
I said, where are we just going to? And then the Guardians do catch up to them and split them up, and we get this like overhead shot of them getting split up. And I was wondering if like one of them was on Canada's side and one was on Gilead still, but I think they're both in Gilead still, right?
Well, I kind of think that just based on the trailer that I watched for next week, but I did definitely notice how they were split up, and one's on this side and one's on this side.
Ugh, so it was terrible. You know, I was surprised that they did it so fast because usually in this show, that would be a slow-mo shot of them running and almost getting there, and my heart would be exploding, and I would be like on the floor, and it would stress me out too much.
Or they would get there and get over, and then June would be like, "Oh, but wait a minute, I need to go back for whatever."
So that's when we get the face shot. She's like,
"That's when she stops
going
and she
back."
looks at the camera,
and then then it cuts to Luke, and he's doing, and it's both of them just looking at each other, and just. They should, and then they go back,
and then the show ends, and then we're like, "Damn it, June!" Every
so ridiculous.
Time.
It's
Damn
not
it, June.
Yeah. But it was a big cliffhanger. Now I totally think this is where we have to kind of start moving those pieces that we've set up.
Right.
Because they have to do something, right? They're like in dog cages. They're going to the colonies. They're going to be executed. They're going to be something, right? June is going to see Lydia again, most likely. June is going to see just different people, and I hope Lydia just fucking shows up, right? I'm hoping we get a moment between June and Janine, maybe, and like some understanding there where June was like, "I couldn't even find you. I'm so happy to see you alive." I don't know. I just am real worried for Luke. June's gonna be fine, but I'm real worried for Luke.
I think Luke's gonna be fine.
I think he's gonna die, and if they do it, I riot.
I think he's not. I think it's going to end. The series is going to end with Luke and June.
And Hannah, but not Nicole.
Well, I don't know about Hannah because I have not finished the test. Depends on if there's going to be another show after this one.
Yeah. I feel like...
Or are they going to just be done?
I feel like we're headed... I totally think there's going to be another show. I absolutely think there's going to be another show. And I feel like Elizabeth Moss is going to produce it or like do some behind-the-scenes work with it.
Yeah.
But I feel like Hannah's story is a darker one. And I really have a feeling we're not going to get her. Right. I think she's going to be acclimated to this world, and that's the life she's going to live.
I'll tell you, just from just the part that I've heard. I'm not that far into it. I actually forget I'm listening to it sometimes because I have so many other things I gotta finish. Takes me a couple days to do my 90-day fiance. Then I got to do 90-day single life.
Oh my gosh, 90-day fiance is like 3-hour episodes.
And then so I have a lot, but she doesn't want to be a wife. I know that. I've heard her say that in the Testament. She doesn't want to be a wife. So.
Well, I don't know. It's going to stress me out. I have to take it one day at a time, and I already know from the trailer of the next one, this whole separation thing we're about to get again is going to just stress me out, right? And I feel like it's going to end really stressful. It's going to be like, do you remember the episode, season 2, episode 1, when she arrives in some like stadium or something, and they line them all up to be hanged, and they all think they're about to be hanged, and they're like pissing themselves, and like I feel like we're going to get something like that pretty soon. Where like we get real close to death.
And what did happen then? I remember that.
They were all spared. It was the very first time they were all spared because they get spared every other season. So like,
right.
I don't know. It's going to stress me out real bad, but we're here for it, and we're here for it. Y'all want some action? This is going to be the action episode. We're going to start getting our shit now. Kill Serena Joy. I'm going to wear a shirt that says "Kill Serena Joy."
I don't want to kill Serena Joy.
Kill her. Murdered.
No, I don't want her murdered. I just want to watch her be so uncomfortable.
Suffer.
Yeah, I want to watch her suffer. I don't want her to die. I just want to watch her be, I don't know. I mean, how bad is it to say I'd like her to be a handmaid when I don't even agree with handmaids anyway? I don't know.
Yeah.
She just needs to lose her baby.
But not die, baby. Like the baby like goes somewhere else, right?
Definitely not die, baby. Like somebody take the baby, and she's not allowed to have her baby. June gets the baby.
Dude, June don't even want Nicole. What do you mean think she's gonna want the Waterford baby?
I think I want to let June and Luke and Moira and Rita have the baby for
Give it to Rita. Let Rita have the baby. Or like Moira's got a girlfriend now, and Moira's gonna want a baby. Something. I don't know. It's whatever happens to that baby is gonna be a moment of like, well, let's take a wrong and do a right with it.
Right.
I feel like that's just what that's the shit they're gonna do with it, which is I'm okay for it, right?
We hope so, but
I hope so.
We don't know.
A baby's still innocent.
They do a lot of wrong.
Yeah. The baby comes out demanding.
But in the next episode, on the trailer, so I saw Nick. And he's got blood all over him.
Did he? I missed that.
Yeah, he had blood on his
or
face.
Luke. Is it Luke or Nick?
Nick.
Okay.
Nick had blood on his face.
I had to side eye you for a second. I said Luke or Nick.
I didn't do that at all this episode. But he did. He had blood on his face. They were in dog cages. I'm trying to think what else.
Getting their pictures taken.
Yeah, they don't give you much, so
it's just a quick. The trailers are really quick, and now we gotta wait a whole damn week for it. And I feel like next week we're gonna watch it, and the cliffhanger is going to be even worse, and we're gonna be like, oh, because this episode I'm fine. I feel like really good with where we ended. I'm really excited to see what happens next week, but I'm good to like chill for a second because I know it's about to be intense.
Yeah. Because it hasn't really been intense, but I think because there was no reason there just wasn't any reason. Now there's reason.
Well, I think they've been setting it up real well, and I'm okay with that. And I think that was necessary. So what do you take from this episode? What's the big message you take from it? Or the biggest thing, the thing you like the most or thing you hate the most?
I like the flashbacks. I like that the flashbacks seem to align with current things that are going on.
Yeah.
It gives us kind of a look into what might be happening. I I'm still trying to figure out the whole fairy tale thing. I don't understand why the episode was named Fairytale.
Oh, okay. That's what I said at the beginning of the episode, right? I said we'll get to it. I believe that it is. So we have Serena Joy and what she's wanting as her fairy tale, right? She's wanting this world that she creates and she gets to live comfortably in as her fairy tale, and she's not going to get that. So it's the downfall of her fairy tale, and then we get the opposite of that or maybe not even the opposite, but for Luke and June. They had the fairy tale. They lost the fairy tale. And can they get the fairy tale back? And I feel like Luke is super optimistic about that. And June, he's like pulling June into it. And we've seen, finally, he gets her up to dance. She's like starting to allow herself a little bit of hope for the fairy tale. And I guess we'll have to see what happens from there.
And I noticed like when they pulled them apart, there was a lot of love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't kill my Luke. Don't kill my
And that's
Luke.
what we were all mad about in the first place when she first went back. I remember when that first episode.
Yeah.
That she got back to Canada on the boat or whatever, and Luke came in to see her, and everybody was like, she didn't even act like she liked Luke anymore.
Right?
I'm like, what do you mean?
I know. We would have been heated covering the show last season.
I know.
Because people, that's when the tide started turning against June.
I know. But it's interesting, though. It's definitely interesting to read all of this stuff because you get to see everyone's different point of view.
I love that.
What everyone thinks might happen. It gives you ideas of what could happen or if you disagree.
Yeah.
Some things are super funny.
Because we're humans, and so we come at things with different perspectives, and I think that it's been real interesting seeing that sort of thing. I loved the overall message of past and present, and
me too.
How that
I did like that.
The past and present sort of like dynamics that is going into the story right now. So that's my biggest takeaway. I don't know. Yeah. Any final word before we go ahead and check it out?
I'm just looking forward to next week.
But this is how, like, I feel like this recording is kind of almost the way we're sort of acting in this recording is more symbolic of how the episode was for me, in that it was a little bit anticlimactic for me, even with the ending that we got, the cliffhanger that we got.
I expected the ending, so
yeah.
I figured it was going to happen, the ending, because we saw something in the trailer last time, so.
Explosion.
I wasn't surprised.
I thought it was going to be Die Hard,
Yeah. So I wasn't surprised about the ending. So I guess that's just, I mean, we're just basically talking about the show. Now, if it gets really good, then
we'll show up in the last episode wearing a Handmaid's costume. I was looking for a commander's wife costume. I was like, maybe I'll buy one of those.
I was going to pull my hair all back.
Oh, God.
Like Serena Joy.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Well,
no, I couldn't do it.
This is a good time to check out then. Hey,
what are you gonna do with unpack all those boxes?
I'm doing it now. I have to it's a lot of work, man. It's crazy.
I'm glad I'm not looking at Brittany's boobs though. I do like that.
I'm bringing her back. Okay, I still have to go to the apartment and get her.
I know, but the thing is that when I'm looking at it, I don't even see her face. Like all I see is from like her neck to her waist.
Yeah, and we celebrate women's bodies over here at Coffee and Tequila.
Well, we do, but this is Handmaid's Tale. I just feel like,
should I dress her up in a red Handmaid's Tale outfit? Should I Photoshop it in for the episode?
Actually, no. She's been through enough.
Why are you wearing blue?
It's not blue.
She thinks she's a commander's wife. Look at her.
Green.
Sitting
I'm not
there
a
look at her with a Ray Dunn cup. I bet they all have Ray Dunn cups too. All right, guys. We'll talk to you next time. They can't have writing.
They can't have words.
Oh yeah, they're not allowed to read. I forgot that. She got her finger cut off for reading. She reads the Ray Dunn mug. She said toxic and cut it off. Bye, guys.
Bye.